Hey everybody, I'm Twotris, and today I wanted to kind of discuss being a loser and what it means to be a loser and why it's okay. So there are a number of people who have reached out to me in the past couple of months, and all of those people are significantly different. And for the majority of my life, I have to be honest with you guys, I've been a loner. I haven't really had too many friends. And it's not because I can't make friends, it's because I'm very selective with the people that I like to be around, because unless somebody really has like the same vibe, or if they're interested in talking about ideas, I just kind of look at that thing as a borderline waste of my time. I don't think like that as much as I used to, but especially in high school, things just didn't really interest me unless they were like relating to aesthetics or music or something. I hate to sound pretentious, but kind of intellectual. And I know that there are very smart people out there who know more than I do. And I was interested in searching for those people at that time. The problem was in high school and most relationships, people organize themselves into a hierarchy based on things, not just based off intelligence, but how cool you are, what clothes you wear, how many friends you have, what kind of music you listen to. And for me, I never really understood why that matters so much, especially because you don't have to participate in the hierarchy if you don't want to. I felt like every time that you catered to the interests of the people at the top of the group, the popular kids, you were admitting to yourself that, yeah, I'm a part of this system, I'm playing into it, and that's okay. And I was never okay with that. I kind of stuck my middle finger up at all the people who were in that system, and I said, you know what? I'm going to create my own path, my own hierarchy, if you will. I wouldn't even really call it a hierarchy. It was just my own destiny. And I think that's what loners should do. They don't worry about the hierarchy. They don't worry whether or not people like them. They understand the reality that people will not like them, but at the very least there's a freedom in liking what you like. And I had a conversation with somebody who was popular in high school just today, and he was telling me that, he was good looking, people often handed him, many opportunities, he was the life of the party, yada, yada, yada. And while I see the value in something like that, I'm sure that there are many experiences to be had if you're good at socializing with other folks. There was just, I focused only on a few handful of aspects of the human spirit that mattered most to me. And if I didn't find that in something, if I didn't find that in people, I had absolutely no interest in becoming friends with that person. Thankfully, 10 years later after I realized this, I have found really cool people all around the world, thanks to the internet. But when I was 13, I remember, especially in middle school, when everybody was into hip-hop and looking cool and having the best Facebook profile picture, there was this uncomfortable feeling I had every time I'd put on a snapback cap and I'd put it on backwards, or I wore some shirt, some sports jersey because I wanted to look cool. It felt like I was just losing my sense of self. And the artist, the really creative person, the person who's interested in ideas, does have a very strong sense of self that can be easily lost in following the path of other people. And while there are folks who will never watch this video, always following the beat of someone else's drum for the entirety of their lives, I know that the people who watch my channel are deep thinkers. They don't really care about that kind of thing, but maybe they second guess themselves at times, wondering, am I really doing the right thing with my life by following the beat of my own drum? Is this really what I should be doing? Should I be listening to the advice of others? And my opinion is you should listen to the advice of people who really know who you are, people who share their authenticity with you. In you being authentic with the world will eventually reward you with other authentic people, and from those authentic people you can learn a variety of life lessons. However, if you don't know what you want out of life, you end up getting a whole lot of what you don't want. And this kind of goes for anything from career advice, friends, to where you want to live. And I think that the duty of the loner, the duty of the artist, is to really master his individuality so that he can make decisions for himself. Now, I'm not going to go into the free will determinism thing, but essentially, if you know what you want, then the wants of other people disappear. And when you hear a bad faith critique of who you are as a person, like if somebody tells me that, I'm a loser because I like punk rock, or I'm a loser because I have really no problem with people of XYZ category, or I'm too cool, I'm too lax, whatever critique people have of me. It doesn't really matter that much, except for when it's my friends, because I'm not really a believer that there's a truly definable like right or wrong, and that people are ultimately just expressing their individuality. And in expressing your individuality, you'll find those who are compatible with you, and you'll find those who are not compatible with you. And if you don't do that, you will be lost and regretting not having been yourself for the time that you could have been. I have a friend who did follow the grain of what other people were doing when I was in high school, and he was extremely intelligent, one of the smartest people I've ever met, but also anxious to the point that he was unable to follow his own gut, follow what he wanted to do. And 12 years, 13 years later, we obviously agree on the importance of understanding your own individuality, but between the two of us, I don't regret the last 12 years of my life, because I learned a lot of valuable lessons in saying exactly what I thought and being wrong when I said wrong things. And they look at this 12 years of time as maybe a learned experience, but there's a regret that they have inside their soul, which tells them that they should have been more authentic with themselves, despite the pressures of the people around them. And the reason it doesn't really bother me that much is not just wanting to build my own path and straying away from the hierarchy, but because life is just really short, and I've spent a lot of time just pondering the whole, we only have so many years on this earth. You never really know when you're going to die. And, life is it's a beautiful thing, and I want to affirm my existence every chance that I possibly can. And every time I'm not affirming that existence, every time that I'm not chasing an ideal that I know that I have for myself, I feel like I am experiencing spiritual torture. So to all of you guys who are thinkers, deep thinkers, into philosophy, and consider questions like this and maybe aren't liked by a whole lot of people, my message to you is it's not a problem. The only thing that you're missing is putting yourself out there more. That's the problem that loners have, is there are people that they can get along with, people that are compatible with them, but ultimately never find them because they're too afraid to go out into the world and see what's out there. Trust me, I was the same way. The only reason I started my YouTube channel in the first place was because I was so fed up with the people around me, and a lot of folks I had grown up with didn't want to have anything to do with me anymore due to my, I wouldn't even call them conservative, but I didn't really appreciate the whole PC culture that happened in the late 2000s. A lot of my friends were like, "Oh, well, we can't really associate ourselves with you anymore." I was in a position where, okay, well, if I don't put myself out there, I'm essentially just sitting at my mom's house, not really doing anything, and that's not healthy. So if you guys have people who hate you, people who don't like you, or if you're struggling to make social connections, I would recommend getting over the putting yourself out there on the internet. You don't need to share a lot of personal information. You're going to get nasty comments. People will always leave strange comments on your videos. There's really no getting around that. But I think it's you can liken it to boxing. The first time that you take a punch to the face, it hurts a lot, and then the more that you do it, the easier it gets. Not that getting punched in the face ever feels good, but the thing with YouTube comments and people commenting on how you look, just whatever, man. You'll find the people that like you, cherish the people that like you, and you will have some of the most fantastic friendships that you couldn't have ever imagined. I've said this before, but most of the people that I talk to right now, I've met within the last 12 months, and the previous 26 years of my life before that, I probably talked to my parents and maybe 2 or 3 other people regularly. But I've noticed that putting myself out there, I've found people I like more, people who I admire, people who like me, and ultimately my sense of community is greater. I know maybe I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I am creating a community and not necessarily being a loner, but I think that the loner realizes that he doesn't want to be a part of the direct hierarchy of the people around him, the people that he was forced to be around, and wants to create something for himself. And once he finds the right people who are very, very compatible with him, then things kind of come together. And that's what we need to do on the internet more. Just stop being afraid, recognize that, we will not be liked, and in surmounting that fear, life gets a hell of a lot better, and you won't regret it. You will not regret it. I promise you that. The only caveat is always listen. to the people who give you good faith critiques, and as long as you work together, you will grow, your friends will grow, and you'll look back in hindsight and be like, you know what, at least I can die happy. At least I can get on my deathbed and be like, I was never afraid to be myself. Which, by the way, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but many people, I think one of the most common regrets people have on their deathbed is that they never had the courage to be themselves. And I can die happily saying that I was never afraid of doing that, and I hope that you aren't either, because I believe in you. I believe in all of you guys, and I just wanted to express one more time how grateful I am that you've come here to listen. Don't let the critics get to you. Just go after it, and the core essence of you will slowly come out in embracing it. So that's about all.